3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Pumped. Live from the Stuart Country Day School in Princeton, New Jersey, you're watching the New Jersey Prep B Girls Basketball Championship on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Today, the Stuart Day Tartans play host to the Academy of St. Elizabeth Panthers with the Prep B Championship on the line. It's the home Tartans in the white jerseys with green accents and the blue and white for St. Elizabeth on the road. Quick lead tip won by Stuart. Shot was no good and rebounded by Jane Moyo for the Academy of St. Elizabeth. Small and raucous gymnasium as they have a traveling violation against St. Elizabeth and a turnover. Both teams a little bit excited here inside the first minute of play. Walking it across for Stuart, Nia Melvin. She's number 15 and the team's leading scorer. Outside, Jasmine Hanford tries a three. Shot no good. Rebound up for grabs. Grabbed by Bayshana Clark. And she gets the putback, and the first 2 points of the game go to Clark. It's 2-0 Stuart Day. Starting 5 for the Tartans, Jasmine Hansford, Jalen Spalding, Madeline Michaels, Nia Melvin, and Bayshana Clark. Their head coach is Justin Leaf. They went 15-7 this year. And the opportunity to host the Prep B Championship game here this evening. A happy Valentine's Day to all those of you who are joining us who celebrates. Driving in with the shot, Quinn Galligan is no good. And the rebound comes to Stuart Day. See a man-to-man defense for the Panthers. Went 12-10 this season. Their head coach, Bruce McLeod. Now it's Hansford driving left side of the lane. Lost it, give out for Spalding, who dumps in for Clark. Circling underneath, bucket good for Bayshana Clark. She has all 4 points for Stuart Day School. They're up 4-0 on St. Elizabeth. Starting 5 for the Panthers in today's games, Claire McVicker out with Quinn Galligan, Courtney Kelly, Shannon Brown, and Jane Moya. In the lane, shot from Kelly was no good. Rebound still up for grabs out long. Grabbed at the timeline by Galligan and then thrown down to the baseline where it's taken away by Clark and brought into the front court for Stuart Day. 3 on the way too strong, but grabbed by Jalen Spalding. To slow things down on offense. Now driving the baseline, it's Hansford with the shot. Didn't go down, and Courtney Kelly grabbed the rebound. Now ahead, this is McVicker, kick out, 15-footer on the way, a little too strong from Quinn Galligan. Rebound loose down into the corner, grabbed by Stewart, Nia Melvin. Melvin, long pass ahead for Spalding underneath. The bucket is good. And we have an injury timeout. Taking the bucket good. Underneath for Jalen Spalding, her first 2 points of the game. She averages about 12.5. The injured player down for Stewart is Madeline Michaels. Helped off the floor now by Justin Leaf and some of the staff here at Stuart to a nice ovation. It's a packed house here at Stuart Day. Not a lot of seating area here in the main gym. There's an overflow gym to the spot behind us. They have a monitor set up to watch the game as they're anticipating and got a big crowd. 6-0 Tartans in the early going. Panthers having a hard time with the full court press, but able to get it across. This is Shannon Brown. Her pass tipped. It comes to Quinn Galligan, far side. Early elbow, back outside. Brown for 3, no good. The rebound comes out long to Stewart. Tartan's doing a really good job in grabbing those rebounds, whether they're in close or out long. Alea James is checked into the game for Stewart. As Bayshana Clark throws it away on a pass. Expected her teammate to stay posted up on the outside. Instead, she was cutting along the baseline, and the pass went into no man's land. Back into the press for Stewart, and again, St. Elizabeth having a little bit of trouble getting it through. Just getting it across the timeline. Now far side, Galligan kicks to the near side. 3 from Kelly, rims in and out, but underneath, Jane Moyo grabs the rebound and got fouled on the way up. So Moyo, whose shot was no good, will head to the free throw line and shoot 2. As Bayshana Clark picks up her first foul in the first against either team in the game. Moyo is senior, averaging about 6.5 points per game this season. First free throw is up and good. Moyo, the team's leading rebounder, about 8 per game. second is up and good for Moyo as well, so she has 2. First 2 points of the game for St. Elizabeth. But trails Stuart Day by 4, who has the ball. Spalding into the corner for Leah James. St. Elizabeth switching to a bit of a zone here. Now underneath, Moyo. It's whistled for the foul as Bayshana Clark was working in the low post. That'll be Moyo's first foul, and the first going against St. Elizabeth. And the free throw line, that'll send Bayshana Clark. First right-handed free throw, up and good from Clark. Junior forward. Team's leading rebounder at nearly 9 per game. Also 11.5 points per game. Really good contributor. Second free throw is no good. Moyo grabbed the miss, and St. Elizabeth breaks it across. This is Courtney Kelly sending one into the corner for Shannon Brown. 6-footer, too strong. Good box out on the rebound by Nia Melvin. Melvin outlets ahead for Spalding. It will slow it down for Stuart. Now the freshman, James. Good ball movement by Stuart Day. Clark kicks out. Hansford for 3, drills it. Jasmine Hansford makes it 9-2 Stuart. So they've controlled the first 4 minutes of this contest. St. Elizabeth trying to get something going on offense. As McVicker hobbled the pass, now send it underneath for a drive by Moyo. Her shot missed the rim. Now ahead, bounce pass gets tipped, intended for Spalding, and goes out of bounds.
Line!
Stay with Stuart. 3:42 left to go in the first quarter. Send inwards for Melvin in the corner. Good drive, but she got fouled on the way up at the shot. So Nia Melvin will head to the free throw line and shoot 2. As the foul goes against Jane Moyo. It's number 2 against her. And the second against St. Elizabeth. So Moyo will have to come out. As the first from Melvin is up and good. Melvin averaging 15 points per game to lead the team. Second free throw from Melvin is no good. So Nia Melvin goes 1 for 2 at the line. It's 10-2 in favor of Stuart Day. 3:30 left to go in the first. It's Caitlin Rolfe, the player who checked in for St. Elizabeth. As a pass ahead for Brown went off of the senior's hands and out of bounds. St. Elizabeth, a few big turnovers in the early going. Trying to dial up a press of their own. Stuart able to parry it. Spalding sends it back out for James. And now it's Melvin in between the circles. Far side, it's Hansford. Has it taken away from her by Brown. Good defense, but then Brown's outlet pass is stolen away. Stuart maintains possession, but then that ball gets thrown away. Taken by McVicker, who had her pocket picked by Aaliyah James. Underneath, bucket good for Jalen Spalding. She has 4, and a timeout taken by St. Elizabeth. Well, just a kind of a cacophony of turnovers back and forth. Each team turning it over twice before it came back over to Stuart Day. I was able to get the bucket. And just kind of by looking at the first nearly 7 minutes of this game, 6 minutes of this game, I should say, you'd never guess that Stuart was the younger of these two teams. Tartans have only 3 seniors, 1 junior and 1 sophomore, and 8 freshmen on their roster this year. As you take a look at the huddle on the side of St. Elizabeth, who's almost the exact opposite. 6 seniors, 5 juniors, and 4 freshmen, no sophomores on the Panthers team. They've got the experience, but so far it's been the Stuart Tartans who have been playing a little bit better through this stretch. What you'd like to see out of St. Elizabeth is starting to draw on some of that experience to get through this tough time and not allow Stuart to run away with things too early, though still plenty of basketball left as we're not quite done with the first quarter. Stuart will get right back into that press. Looks like a full court man-to-man for the Tartans. One pass up ahead. Setting up on offense, Quinn Galligan. Good ball reversal into the corner. Jane Howard got it back up top for Courtney Kelly, whose three was well short. Howard grabbed the rebound underneath. Now sending it in off the window. Shot no good by Quinn Galligan, and then the rebound gets pushed out of bounds. Last touch by Galligan. Jalen Spalding. Sitting ahead for Nia Melvin. Now back underneath for Spalding through contact. Shot didn't go, no whistle. And the offensive rebound, that putback didn't go either from Catherine Martin, who grabbed her own miss on the floor. Grabs her own miss again. Oh, how about this offensive rebounding by Stuart? And eventually the ball taken out long and controlled by Courtney Kelly. Panthers can get it back to single digits, but a turnover as Jane Howard, the freshman, called for a travel on the far side. And you got to hand it to Stuart. Every time it's looked like St. Elizabeth has had an opportunity to try and get some kind of momentum. Either the Panthers have done something to turn it back over, or Stuart has done something to force the Panthers into a mistake. They've been able to capitalize on the other end of the courts. Driving in, that's Melvin. Shot doesn't go, and the rebound to St. Elizabeth. Across the logo. Over to the far side, pump fake. Now going up for two is Kelly. Shot didn't go. Galligan tried to save the rebound, but she stepped on the line and wasn't able to. It's right back over to Stuart Day once again. Substitution coming for St. Elizabeth as Faith Panciello comes into the game. First time we've seen Panciello on the floor wearing number 14. Melvin taking this one herself. Layup doesn't go. Catherine Martin with the rebound. That's Hansford losing it in the lane. Ball loose on the floor. Scrum for it. Picked up by Hansford. And she was somehow able to get it out to Melvin. Risky play by Hansford, but now driving in. A traveling violation called against Jalen Spalding. Took an extra step before putting it on the floor. Inside a minute to go in the first quarter, 12-2, Stuart Day on top of St. Elizabeth. Got a lot of problem with this intense defense played by the Tartans. Inside, Caitlin Rolfe throws a shot up, no good. Rebound tipping around and eventually grabbed by Stuart. The freshman guard, James, able to grab it. Up ahead, driving in, and we have a foul. Oh, this is going to go against Claire McVicker. Adeline McVicker's first, and number 3 against St. Elizabeth in the opening quarter. Baseline inbound coming for Spalding. She gets it in, but the ball got tipped out, and Spalding grabbed it. Drive to the baseline for Melvin. Reverse layup just goes straight up in the air. And the ball deflects off a leg out of bounds. Last touch by Stuart. Back to St. Elizabeth with about 26 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Long pass ahead and picked off by Melvin, who's almost thrown right to her. James left corner, kick out, Hansford for 3, no. Long shot brings a long rebound out for Nia Melvin. Good reversal for Stuart. Drive to the baseline. Spalding up at the shot. Does not go. And that will do it. That shot doesn't count at the end of the first quarter. It's the Stuart Tartans 12 and the St. Elizabeth Panthers 2. You're watching the New Jersey Prep B Girls Basketball Championship on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Getting set for the start of quarter number 2 here at Stuart Day School in Princeton, New Jersey. Stuart Day leads St. Elizabeth 12-2 at the end of one quarter. New Jersey Prep B Girls Basketball Championship. Joe Vasile here with you on the Play-by-Play Sports Network this evening. Thank you for spending part of your Wednesday Valentine's Day with us. Across the timeline. Taken, pulling up. Jump shot was Faith Panciello. Was no good, and rebound got tipped and taken by Stuart Day. Back the other way, baseline jumper for Hansford. 2 from the corner, good for Jasmine Hansford. She has 5 points, first player in the game to get to that mark. 14-2 the score now. Stuart continuing to expand this lead. And a traveling violation and the turnover is Claire McVicker. Are called for steps. Stuart grabs it back as it's been their stifling defense that's helped them out to this big lead early. In a low block, Bayshana Clark turnaround off the window is good. Boy, I tell you, Clark's played a really strong game underneath for Stuart. She's got 6 early points. Up ahead and getting fouled was Jane Moyo. Tried to catch a pass, and undercutting her a bit was Madeline Michaels. Good to see Michaels back in after she kind of tweaked something in her lower body early on in the first quarter. Had to be helped off the floor a little bit, but kind of got off on her own power some. Good to see her back in the game and all healthy. Caitlin Rolfe checks in for St. Elizabeth. On the stoppage is Jane Moyo heads off to the bench. Remember, Moyo picked up her second foul very early, so honestly it was a little bit of a surprise to see her out in the first minute of the second quarter. That's kind of a risky maneuver. This is Jane Howard with it for St. Elizabeth. Skip pass near side for Shannon Brown. Up to the free throw line, Panciello from the elbow, no good. Rebound out long, and it goes out of bounds. Emily Stewart ball is a couple of St. Elizabeth players not able to track it down in the corner. Among them, Caitlin Rolfe. Rolfe, the freshman, playing in 21 out of the Panthers' 22 games this year. Team leader in blocked shots with 29. Really strong defensive player. Jalen Spalding, handoff pass far side for Nia Melvin. Melvin drives in, has her shot blocked. Ball loose down to the floor. Melvin fighting for it with Panciello, and a held ball is called. And the possession arrow, I believe here, favors Stuart. 6:30 left to go in quarter number 2. Stuart Day School on top of the Academy of St. Elizabeth. 14 points. Get it inside of Bayshana Clark. Her shot doesn't go. Jane Moyo fighting for the rebound, able to get it. And now a foul called against Stuart. And gave her no room, and you gotta give a little bit of room to turn up the floor. And Jasmine Hansford picks up her first foul as a result. Now 3 fouls against each team here in the first half. Taking it across is Quinn Galligan. She drives in, shot no good. A little bit of a rush shot for Galligan. It goes out of bounds on the rebound, last touch by Stuart. St. Elizabeth, seems like they're pressing a little bit, and it's understandable. Trying to get themselves into the game. With the line jumper from Brown, hits off the front of the rim, doesn't get a friendly roll. And Stuart takes it back. Now James hustling in the other direction for the Tartans. Layup good for Leah James. And Leah has her first 2 points of the game. And another timeout taken by St. Elizabeth. Just a 30-second timeout used by the Panthers. 18-2. Score in favor of Stuart Day again with New Jersey Prep B Girls Championship on the line. We've got that here on Play-by-Play Sports Network. Also the Prep B Boys Basketball Championship tipping off in about 40 minutes from now. We'll have that for you on our YouTube stream as well. It's been fairly one-sided in the early going with Stuart Day. Hey, we're the favored team, the higher seed, getting to host this game. Really dialing up what's been a stifling press. gotten St. Elizabeth kind of off of its game. On the far side, it's Panciello trying to dump in for Moyo, but there was Bayshana Clark to break it up. Steal and up ahead, layup good for Jasmine Hansford. Hansford I have with 7 points unofficially. It's an 18-point lead for Stuart. Backing down to the post with a turnaround shot. Howard, it rims out. Rebound loose down on the floor, and another held ball is called, this time the possession arrow in favor of St. Elizabeth, so they'll retain possession of the ball. So get set to make a couple of substitutions. Courtney Kelly, along with Claire McVicker, check back into the game, coming off Faith Panciello and Shannon Brown. To get it in far side for the freshman Howard, who has it knocked free from her hands by Nia Melvin. Then out of bounds, last touch by Melvin. So we'll stay once again with St. Elizabeth. Catherine Martin comes in for the Tartans. Into the corner, 3 on the way, off the mark, no good. That was Courtney Kelly, but underneath Jane Moyo had the rebound. Her shot didn't go. And the rebound grab by Stuart. Now up ahead, here's Jalen Spalding with the layup. Another good one for Spalding. Spalding with 6. Another pass, stolen by Clark. Clark throws one up in the lane, it's good. Ashana Clark has 8. Short corner jumper, way too strong, rebounded by Stuart. And again, a little bit of a rush shot from St. Elizabeth. We have a timeout taken by Stuart Day. 24-12 is St. Elizabeth. Remember in this game, the only 2 points that the Panthers have scored so far came from Jane Moyo when she went to the free throw line and hit both of her foul shots. So it's been a little bit of a time since they've even scored and haven't hit a single field goal yet in this game. Also keep in mind that any stats we're throwing out are all unofficial. We'll have some more official ones come halftime. Right now I've got the leading scorer as Bayshana Clark with 8 points. Jasmine Hansford behind her with 7, and Jalen Spalding with 6. For the Stuart Day Tartans, again, it came in at 15-7 on the season. Walking into the front court for Stuart is Hansford. Rather Spalding, hands off Freddie Melvin. Melvin driving in. And she traveled. Good defense that time by the Academy of St. Elizabeth. Substitution as Bella Fariso checks into the game, the senior. Averaging about 2 points per game this season. 15 games played. That's a little too strong for Moyo, and it goes out of bounds all the way on the far baseline. To the front court, Nia Melvin dribbles right wing. Now dumps it inside for Catherine Martin. Tie up as Moyo and Martin got into it in the paint. Possession arrow is going to favor Stuart, as that's already our 3rd held ball here in this quarter. Nia Melvin will come off the floor. Jasmine Hansford checks back in. It's Hansford, James, Bayshana Clark, who catches the pass underneath. Catherine Martin and Jalen Spalding on the floor. Ball sent to the far wing. Spalding. Now back over to James. And off on a weave for Spalding. Stuart Day doing a little bit of a stall here. Underneath Clark through a double team. Shot doesn't go. And then coming up with a block, Quinn Galligan. And rebounded by St. Elizabeth. Good defensive work by the Panthers on that last possession. Now Kelly for 3, leaves it short, but Galligan flies in and grabs the rebound. Right corner, another 3. This one too strong. Off the hands of Fariso, and the rebound to Stuart. They push the tempo up ahead. And a travel is called against Jasmine Hansford. Stuart Day in their last game, back on February 11th, defeated Newark Academy 67-29. Is on a 3-game winning streak, which includes wins on the road against Princeton Day School and then here at home against the Hun School. Underneath, bucket good for Jane Moya, and that finally breaks the streak. That's got to feel so good for St. Elizabeth. And now you think, okay, maybe you use that to build. You've had a couple of good defensive possessions in a row. Now your first field goal of the game. Try and get back into this one. Underneath, bucket good for Shauna Clark. She's in double figures at 10. St. Elizabeth controlling. Sent to the far side. 3 on the way. Shot doesn't go. The hands of Fariso. Now a furious outlet ahead. Spalding drives in. Under layup in transition. Good for Jalen Spalding. It was 8. One pass ahead underneath for Moyo. To a cutting Kelly. Her shot off the bottom of the backboard. And rebounded by Stuart, but a traveling violation called against Jasmine Hansford. Minute 53 left to go in the second quarter. 24-point lead for Stuart. They commit a rare turnover. Melvin gets up and set to check back in on the next whistle. Rebound comes all the way into the backcourt. Off the inbound, I should say. McVicker takes it back across. Now it's Galligan. Guarded out deep by Madeline Michaels. Picking up her dribble. McVicker sends it back to Galligan, who pump faked and ended up traveling on the perimeter. Turnover for St. Elizabeth. That'll bring Mia Melvin back into the game. St. Elizabeth, their last game yesterday against Pequannock. Victorious 54-42. Comes into this game riding a 3-game winning streak. Also a win on the road against Morristown Bayard. And against Morris Tech as well. Their last loss came back on the 6th of February against Morris Catholic. Tough team. Dump it inside. Clark double teamed underneath. Her shot doesn't go. Grabs her own rebound. And the bucket good on the second chance for Shauna Clark. 30-4. Stuart Day on top. Underneath. Reversal far side. Fariso for 3. Too strong. Rebound comes out. Was grabbed by Alea James. James into the corner. Hansford for 3. Yes. Jasmine Hansford in double figures. She has 10. Missed by my count. Outside of 3 coming for Galligan. She hoisted it off to the left. And it just bounds out of bounds. 32-4. Stuart on top with inside 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2. Jersey Prep B Girls Basketball Championship. Stuart Day trying to lock it up. Thrown off a leg and controlled by St. Elizabeth. Now Fariso underneath, driving. Her shot doesn't go. Rebound out of bounds. Last touch by Stewart. Sent into the corner. Now back up top. McVicker. 3 on the way. Good for Bella Fariso. First 3-pointer made of the game for St. Elizabeth. Now it's 3 going back the other way and answering Jasmine Hansford, and that'll do it for quarter number 2. How about that? So St. Elizabeth gets a 3 on the one end of the floor, and then beating the buzzer, Jasmine Hansford puts a triple down for Stuart Day. We head into halftime with the score 35-7 in favor of the Stuart Day Tartans over the Academy of St. Elizabeth Panthers. You're watching the New Jersey Girls Prep B Basketball Championship on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. We'll be back with half number 2 right after this. And welcome you back, getting set to start quarter number 3 of the New Jersey Prep B Girls Basketball Championship. It's Stuart on top of the Academy of St. Elizabeth, 35-7. Teams have switched sides, and hopefully a little bit more luck for St. Elizabeth here in the second half. There's a quick bucket for Courtney Kelly, gets things going for the Panthers here after halftime. So we'll see what adjustments head coach Bruce McLeod was able to make during halftime to try and rally his Panthers to forge a comeback. It's kind of a tall challenge for this team. It's off to a good start as a turnover by Madeline Michaels. Took steps on the far side for Stuart's A school. So a bucket on one end, then a turnover on the other, and a chance for St. Elizabeth to continue to cut into this Stuart A lead. Brown cycles into the corner. Now back up top for Brown. Set outside. Bounce pass for Moyo. Underneath. Went off her hands and stolen by Stuart. Here's Jalen Spalding driving in. Goes up with the left hand. Shot doesn't go. And the rebound down to Claire McVicker. McVicker up ahead. Gives into the corner. Short jumper. No good. But the offensive rebound. And now Moyo underneath. Gets the bucket off the nice speed. And a timeout taken by Stuart as head coach Justin Leaf is none too pleased with the way things are going to start quarter number 3. Jane Moyo, the senior forward, now with 6 points to lead the way for St. Elizabeth, has more than half of the team's points. As here, well, out of halftime. Quick 4-0 spurts for St. Elizabeth. I'll get you some of the official numbers at halftime. Jasmine Hansford had 9 points for Stuart. We'll go down to Stuart stats. Alea James had 2 points. Jalen Spalding had 10. Nia Melvin had 1. Bayshana Clark, 13 first half points. For St. Elizabeth, Courtney Kelly had 2 points. Bella Fariso has 3. And Jane Moyo now with 6 points to round out the scoring for the Panthers. Looking to try and forge a comeback, and again off to a good start, a 4-0 run to begin the third quarter. Kind of leaning on some of that better experience that St. Elizabeth has over Stuart Day. Again, Stuart with 8 freshmen on their roster. Just 4 upperclassmen. Meanwhile, 11 upperclassmen for the Panthers. And just 4 freshmen. No sophomores. Stuart stalling and reversing the ball back and forth from left to right. Jalen Spalding gives it out. Comes to Nia Melvin, who tries to drive in the baseline, but she's going to pick up a foul. They called it, I think they put up a 22, but that couldn't possibly be right. It's be Courtney Kelly getting called for her first personal foul. Now into the corner, kick out for 3, in and out and down for Madeline Michaels. 3-pointer for Michaels. Or no, did they say 2? No, it is just a 2. Man, I thought they had the 3 signal up. They did not. A double dribble. And St. Elizabeth, as Justin Leaf's timeout, seems to be doing wonders for the Stuart Day Tartans as they've come out strong. Getting the bucket, and now the double dribble turnover. 32! Spalding also this screen, hands off. Now it's Melvin. Getting back to Spalding on a weave. That's what Stuart will run as it comes over to Jasmine Hansford, who then threw it inside and had the pass stolen by Jane Moyo. To the elbow. Good ball movement, but the pass a little bit too high. It's intended for Claire McVicker, but she got plowed over, and a foul is called against Madeline Michaels, who will pick up her second and the team's first in half number 2. Each team now with 1 foul after halftime. So it'll stay St. Elizabeth ball as it comes up top for McVicker. Far wing, it's Galligan. Then Galligan picking it up at the center circle, giving back to McVicker. Kelly. And McVicker playing catch right wing. Now driving in. Kelly throws one up off the window. No good. Rebound down to Jasmine Hansford. Driving in. Right-handed layup. Good for Nia Melvin. Melvin has 3 in the lead up to 28 for Stuart Day School. Right back where it was at halftime. Up top, pass got tipped by Spalding but controlled. Now driving in, shot doesn't go. And rebounded by Nia Melvin. Spalding driving ahead, left-handed layup, good for Jalen Spalding. She has 12 and a timeout taken by St. Elizabeth. 41-11 the score in favor of Stuart. A full timeout taken by the Panthers. As we mentioned, each team riding a 3-game winning streak. St. Elizabeth got here to the championship game by beating Morristown Baird 40-37. Back on the 11th of February, 3 days ago. Stuart Day, here by virtue of beating Newark Academy by a pretty solid margin, 67-29. And on pace to try and get a margin. It's kind of close to that here. They're up by 30. With 4:48 left to go in the third quarter. So you look over at the St. Elizabeth side and you say, okay, what do you have to do? Other than getting the shots to start falling, which eventually they're going to have to. I mean, you shot so cold in that first quarter. A lot of it, though, I think personally comes back to rushed shots on the side of St. Elizabeth. That's really a big tip of the hat. Stuart Day. Here they play defense. Wild shot, no good from Quinn Galligan. Stuart grabs the rebound. And a foul is going to get called here against Quinn Galligan. That'll be her first. Stuart will control. And he's also done a very good job in the fight for the rebounding battle today. Don't have the official numbers, but at least to the Joe's memory test, Stuart with a big advantage. Just playing catch around the perimeter are the Tartans. Now it's Spalding. Going up top for Hansford. Works it down into the block, and now an inside out. Fed right back in. Clark underneath. Gets fouled. Bucket is no good. And Shauna Clark will head to the free throw line and shoot 2 as the foul goes against Shannon Brown, who picks up her first personal and the third against St. Elizabeth here in the second half. Midway through the third quarter, Clark goes up with her first free throw and is good. Shauna Clark leading all scorers with 14 points in the game today. Now 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Bend to the knees, second on the way. That's good as well. An even 15 for Clark, who averages nearly 12 per contest. That'll go up a bit with her performance today. Up top, ball control by McVicker. Appreciate you standing with us here through some technical difficulties. Get those sorted out shortly. Pass on the far side was tipped by Nia Melvin and goes out of bounds. It'll stay with St. Elizabeth. Inbound for the far side is Christina Giambattista. Sets it in for Claire McVicker. McVicker drives into the lane, circles around at the free throw line, and kicks back outside for Galligan. When Galligan tries to dump underneath for Jane Moya with the pass too high, and it sails out of bounds down to the baseline. Another turnover for St. Elizabeth, as Catherine Martin will check in for Stuart Day as they take over the ball. Taking across the timeline, Nia Melvin for Stuart. Fake to pass to the right, instead send it off to the left. Chest pass for Spalding. Now reversal back near side for Melvin. To the free throw line, Aaliyah James back outside for Melvin, driving in. Her shot no good. A rebound tipped out of the hand of James and out of bounds. So the St. Elizabeth ball, 43-11 the score with 3:15 left to go in quarter number 3. Again, working on getting the technical difficulties sorted out. Should have those fixed shortly. Appreciate you sticking with us. Faith Panicello. Over to the far side for Courtney Kelly. Driving in. Batista, and a whistle and a foul was called against Stuart. This will be Nia Melvin picking up her first personal foul, a shooting foul. That'll send Giambattista to the free throw line, a senior, averaging about 1 point per game. This is her 13th game played this season. Giambattista toes the free throw line. First right-handed free throw is up and good. So St. Elizabeth doing a good job from the free throw line today. Now 3 for 3 as a team. Second of the way from Giambattista. That's good as well. She goes 2 for 2 from the stripe. 43-13 the score in favor of Stuart Day. 2:50 left to go in the third quarter. Couple of dribbles on the outside for Catherine Martin. Now Alea James gives underneath for Jalen Spalding. Back for James, dribbling top of the key. And a whistle in, a turnover as a double dribble is called against Alea James. So the freshman guard turns it over. It goes right back over to St. Elizabeth, trailing by 30. Trying to cut into the lead a little bit. They got off to a 4-0 run at the start of this third quarter, but Stuart Day was able to quickly recover. Dumping underneath. Moyo goes up with the shot, goes halfway down and pops out. James grabbed the rebound, but then had her pocket picked by Faith Panciello. Panciello grabs it back, throws it underneath the basket. Up the shot, Giambattista. That was no good off the backboard. Rebounded by Bayshana Clark. Now up ahead, Jalen Spalding for Stuart Day. Circling around with 2:10 left to go in the third. Underneath, ball comes to Catherine Martin. Martin with a bounce pass along the baseline, stolen by Claire McVicker. And then trying to drive forward, McVicker picks up a foul. This is going to go against Jalen Spalding. That'll be Spalding's first. 2:04 left to go in the third. 43-13 the score in favor of Stuart Day School. St. Elizabeth with the ball. Panciello sends it into the corner for Giambattista. Giambattista drives, short left corner. Bounce pass comes back out on the perimeter for Jane Moyo. Moyo drives in, now sends it out for McVicker. McVicker's pass got tipped, but controlled by Giambattista. Her shot doesn't go. Rebound loose on the floor, grabbed by Moyo, and stripped from her hands by Bayshana Clark. Long outlet up ahead for Jalen Spalding, driving in with the left hand, bucket good for Spalding. She has 14 points, and it's a 45-13 lead for Stuart. Now up ahead, Courtney Kelly sends it back to the near side. Giambattista, long two, doesn't go. Panciello grabs the rebound into the right corner. Panciello pulls up for three. Shot doesn't go. And the rebound comes out to the free throw line for Spalding. Now ahead, Nia Melvin driving in through contact. Shot no good, no whistle. We play on as McVicker grabs the rebound for St. Elizabeth. She drives in, throws up a shot. That's no good. The foul is called, though, against Bayshana Clark, who will pick up her second and the team's third. With 1:05 left to go in the third quarter, 45-13 the score in favor of Stuart Day. And to the free throw line, Claire McVicker, the senior, looking for her first points of the game, averaging 6.5 this season. First free throw a little bit strong, but it goes down anyway. So McVicker has her first point. Caitlin Rolfe checks back into the game, as does Jane Howard for St. Elizabeth. Jane Moyo heading off to the bench. Bend to the knee, second right-handed free throw on its way from McVicker. A little strong, this one doesn't go down. Rolfe grabbed the rebound, but then had it knocked free from her hands. The outlet for Stuart nearly stolen. Instead it comes to Spalding, who lays one up, no good, off the front of the rim. And then a jump ball called as James grabbed the rebound underneath and got tied up going back up for the shot. Possession arrow in favor of Stuart, so they'll hang on with inside 55 seconds to go in the third quarter. And a 45-14 lead. They send it quickly into Spalding. Right block jumper does not go. Caitlin Rolfe grabs the rebound. Her outlet nearly stolen. It comes to Faith Panciello. Panciello drives in, tried to give it out on a 2-on-1, but instead it came out and was grabbed by Spalding, who drives in. The bucket is good, and the foul to the free throw line. Jalen Spalding to try to complete a three-point play in style as she went crashing into the first row of bleachers. The foul called against Claire McVicker, her second, team's fourth. So Jasmine Hansford, the sophomore, the lone sophomore, or rather Jalen Spalding, the senior, pardon me, to the free throw line. First left-handed free throw is up and good for Spalding. Closer to 20 points, and then the other way, another foul called against Stuart. Free throw line will go Christina Giambattista, who's 2 for 2. The foul goes against the freshman Emily Dunn, checked into the game. First on the way from Giambattista is up and good with the right hand. A couple of authoritative dribbles. And the second is up and good. Giambattista goes 2 for 2 from the line for the second time today. 48-16. Stuart Day School on top. Dunn, pass nearly stolen, but instead a foul called against Panciello. But Panciello's first. It's Dunn, try to get a pass up top to Alea James. And Panciello went for the steal and instead got a lot of body on James. Now they play it into Spalding, left wing side. Sends it back up to the circle for Melvin. Melvin spinning in between the rings and a timeout taken by Justin Leaf with 13.8 seconds left to go in the third, and a 48-16 lead for Stuart Day School is just a 30-second timeout. Taken here is, well, Stuart seems on their way to victory. Obviously, there's still a decent amount of basketball left to play, but a little over 8 minutes to go and a 32-point lead. It's going to take quite a comeback by St. Elizabeth, but you got to give them credit as well. It's playing hard, but Stuart Day has just been very strong defensively today. They're had a full court press going early on in the game that really kind of got St. Elizabeth just off their mark and just haven't been able to fully recover offensively. So out of the timeout, they'll be inside 14 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 48-16. Stuart Day School on top of St. Elizabeth. James leaves back for Dunn. About 30 feet to the basket. And back to James. A runner from the free throw line doesn't go. Offensive rebound. That doesn't go either on the putback attempt for Jalen Spalding. And that'll do it for the third quarter of basketball here in Princeton, New Jersey. 48-16 the score. Stuart on top of St. Elizabeth at the end of 3 quarters. You're watching the New Jersey Prep B Girls Basketball Championship on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. And welcome you back here quickly to start the fourth quarter. Foul called against Stuart. Sending Jane Howard to the free throw line, who knocks down her first free throw. Apologize for some of the technical difficulties we were having there in that third quarter. Seemingly we have those all worked out. Second free throw was no good, then quick ahead. Jasmine Hansford underneath gets the bucket. 9 points in the game for Hansford. Howard just went 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Reversal far side for McVicker. Underneath, it's Rolfe in the block. Turnaround shot. The right hook, no good. And for the rebound, who to go off of last? It'll be Stuart Baum. Last touch by the Panthers of St. Elizabeth. You see quite a discrepancy on the scoreboard. 33 points the spread. Stuart got in control early in this game, led 12-2 after the first quarter, and haven't looked back since. 3 from Nia Melvin doesn't go. Rebound tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Stuart. As one way or another, we will have a new champion here at the Prep B level. breaking the Pennington hold. Last 2 years. Shot no good from Panciello. And a tie-up in the fight for the rebound. Kind of an early held ball called there. Seen the officials let him go a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, no harm, no foul. Possession now favors Stuart. A tip by Rolfe up ahead and goes out of bounds, but a nice play defensively by Caitlin Rolfe. As we mentioned earlier, the leading shot blocker for St. Elizabeth this year. Swinging underneath for Bayshana Clark. Her shot is up, good, and the foul. All too easy for Bayshana Clark, and a chance for a three-point play. As the foul goes against Caitlin Rolfe, her first. Clark's free throw is good. She has 18 points. At least by my count. She's unofficial. Vicker gives to Giambattista driving in. Her shot was no good, but she got fouled. Foul goes against Jalen Spalding, her second. First free throw on the way from Giambattista. A little bit too strong off the back of the rim. So she had been a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line of the game before that. Second, a knuckleball goes down. So now Giambattista, all 5 of her points in the free throw line. Second leading scorer on the team behind Jane Moyes at 6. 53-18. Stuart on top. Baseline jumper, too strong from Emily Dunn. Rebounded by St. Elizabeth. Nearly a travel as they get the outlet pass away. And the pass comes ahead to Giambattista, feeding Rolfe underneath, and her bucket is good. Caitlin Rolfe for their first 2 points of the game. Dump it inside for Clark. She kicks out. Back up top, Melvin. Gives her Molly Legay. Back over to Jalen Spalding. Oh, her pass nearly stolen by Panciello. Then underneath, shot blocked. Rolfe blocked Emily Dunn, but it's controlled by Stuart. Melvin buckets from the corner. Nia Melvin's got 5. Panciello dribbling with the left hand, now circling around. Her pass tipped and stolen by Jalen Spalding. 2-on-1 for Stuart. Dunn mishandled. And that lets the defense get back, but a foul called against Jane Howard. That'll be foul number 7 in the second half against St. Elizabeth. That'll send Emily Dunn to the free throw line. A 35-point lead for the Stuart Day Tartans. The one-on-one goes down to the thunderous applause as Emily Dunn picks up her first points of the game. And her first points of the season as well. And by virtue of her being a freshman, that means the first point of her high school career. I mean, the Prep B championship game, pretty good. Second free throw, no good. Clark had the rebound, then it got knocked free from her hands and out of bounds. Last touch by St. Elizabeth. Just over 5 minutes left to play in the game. And the Tartans grab it back. Clark inside. She was hacked on the way up. Caitlin Rolfe will pick up her second foul. The bump on the head to Clark. Send Bayshana to the free throw line for 2. First free throw, up and good from Clark. Closing it on 20 points. Second, rolls all the way down. 20 points for Clark as she subs out for Catherine Martin. saw Martin quite a bit in the first half. First time, I believe we're seeing her in the fourth quarter. 38 points the difference. Penciello drives in, runner off the backboard, no good. Offensive rebound, that doesn't go. And Penciello takes it out wide. She'll pull up from three. A little bit short. Rahl fighting for the rebound, can't get it. Bodies hit the floor, and it's rebounded by Stuart. They'll slow it down now in the front court. This is the senior guard, Jalen Spalding. And a timeout taken by Justin Leaf with 4:26 remaining. Just a 30-second timeout. Stuart, as you take a look at their huddle, and inside 4.5 minutes remaining between them and the Prep B Championship here in 2018. What a well-deserved win it would be. They've played a great game going both ways, offensively and defensively in this contest at the Tartans. St. Elizabeth fell behind early and just really struggled to find their rhythm offensively throughout the game. At times rushing shots and turning the ball over very frequently, thanks to the stifling defense of Stuart. Catherine Martin dribbles and hands off to Molly Legay. Alea James with the top. Stuart just running the weave around the outside as Janiyah Adams set a pick at the top of the key. Just a lot of dribble handoff passes as Stuart into a stall offense. James underneath. Emily Dunn with a quick touch before it came outside from the game. Stuart has held the ball here for a solid 40 seconds out of the timeouts. James, top of the key, passing near side for Legay. She'll pull up from 17, no good on the shot. And then a foul called against Stuart. That'll be number 8 against the Tartans in the second half. Goes against Emily Dunn, her second. That'll send Caroline Nielsen to the free throw line, number 22, a senior. Trying to get on the scoreboard today. Stands staggered behind the line. Shot is no good as it hit the backboard. But a lane violation got called against St. Elizabeth anyway. It'll be Stuart Day ball after they took up nearly a minute off the clock on their last possession. See if that's their strategy again here. Just hold the ball and kind of squeeze the air out of the pumpkin as long as they can. Pass tipped and stolen by Bella Fariso. Driving in a right-handed layup. Good. Fariso, the senior, with 5 points. Making things happen on the defensive side. Dunn sends it up top for Legay. Back to James. It's the Tartans again, just trying to waste as much time off the clock as they can. Down towards the Prep B Championship. Driving in, Catherine Martin had it knocked from her hands, but it went off of her and out of bounds. It'll be St. Elizabeth basketball with inside 3 minutes to go. 58-22, Stuart on top. By 36, Gian Batista pump fakes, drives, shot doesn't go. Offensive rebound, put back, no good from Sydney Rafferty. And the rebound to Stuart. Up ahead, Emily Dunn. Circle back around and send it to Martin up top. Back into the corner, Dunn with a pump fake. Dribbles to the right elbow. Stuart again, slowing it down with 2:15 left to play. Now Legay penetrates. Her shot doesn't go. And a foul. Fighting for the rebound, Emily Dunn is going to pick up another one. That'll send us down all the way to the other side of the floor. For another 1-and-1. This time it'll be the junior, Sydney Rafferty, heading to the free throw line. Rafferty played in 8 games this year before this one, averaging about half a point per contest. free throw, a little bit short. Emily Stuart ball. 2:08 left to go. 58-22, Stuart on top. Martin nearly traveled, now goes in, has the ball knocked free. Giambattista. Long pass ahead, but it gets tipped by Alea James and out of bounds. Pass touched by James, so it'll stay St. Elizabeth ball, but heads up defensive play by the freshman to disrupt the pass for Nielsen. Inside 2 to play, left corner 3, Fariso chucked it way long. Rebounded by Dunn. Pass punched out and controlled by St. Elizabeth. Ball comes free in the corner and grabbed by Janiyah Adams. 90 seconds to play. Legay to the elbow, sends it out for Alea James. James drives in, has her shot blocked by Fariso and taken by Katie Perzicki. 1:14 to go. Fariso had the ball just fly high, straight up into the air, and taken by Stuart Day School. James, a 15-footer from Dunn, a little bit short. Rebounded by Nielsen, her pass ahead for Fariso. Skip pass back to the near side for Giambattista. Inside a minute left, Fariso chucks from 3, off the mark to the right, and it skips to Alea James. 45 seconds to go. James driving in, gets fouled, going up at the shot, which does not go down. End of the free throw line to shoot 2 will be Alea James. It'll be foul number 9 against St. Elizabeth here in the second half. This goes against Katie Perzicki. As first shot is up and good. James now with 3 points coming off the bench for the Tartans. Flicks the second, and that goes as well. 4 points for the freshman guard. Scrappy, solid player off the bench for the Tartans. Alice Nielsen grabbing her own rebounds, going up with the shot and drawing a foul. This foul goes against Janiyah Adams, her first. Team's 10th. 2 shots coming for Caroline Nielsen. First free throw on the way, off the backboard, and couldn't get the friendly hop. So Nielsen will try and make good on number 2. Pick up her first point of the game. Senior, playing in her 10th game this season. Seconds off the backboard, and their violation as it didn't hit the rim. It'll be Stuart ball. 60-22, 23.7 seconds left. Stuart can dribble it out. Into the front court, Alea James. Ali Legay. Give credit to St. Elizabeth, still trying and playing defense. Bucket good from Dunn and 1. How about that for Emily Dunn? Got hip checked and got the bucket. Foul against Fariso. It's her first. To the free throw line, no good, was Emily Dunn. Rebound to St. Elizabeth, ball poked free. It'll stay Panther basketball with 6.5 seconds. A 40-point lead for Stuart. Ball entered. Across the timeline, Giambattista. Pass tipped by Legay and out of bounds with 1.3 seconds to go. Both teams fighting to the finish, playing a full 32 minutes of basketball. Giambattista, that'll do it. The Stuart Country Day School Tartans are the 2018 New Jersey Prep B Girls Basketball Champions. Victorious 62-22 over the Academy of St. Elizabeth Panthers this evening. as the teams now shake hands along the near sideline. Smiles on the faces of the Stuart Day Tartans. A hard-earned victory here today over St. Elizabeth. The final score not really telling the tale, I think, completely of this game, as Stuart had to play an excellent defensive game to come away with the victory today, and that's exactly what they did, just swallowing the full court press early on in the first half and playing great half-court defense throughout the entirety of the game. And by a 20-point performance by junior forward Bayshana Clark on offense, Stuart Country Day School to be presented with the trophy. They're on their own home courts. And again, a hard-fought and a well-deserved victory here this afternoon, taking down St. Elizabeth 62-22. So that does it just about for our broadcast here today on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. I want to thank you for joining us here on this Valentine's Day Wednesday. And of course, to anyone who's celebrating Valentine's Day, a very happy Valentine's Day to you. And, well, if you're not, I hope you have a happy Wednesday as well. I'm Joe Vasile, giving you the final score for the final time. It's the Stuart Country Day School Tartans 62 and the Academy of St. Elizabeth Panthers 22. So long for Princeton. We'll talk to you next time on the Play-by-Play Sports Network.